Okay, the date is the 14th of April, 2011. I'm here with Adam McMonagle. Do I have your permission to record this interview for use in my project?
Yes.
Okay. How big of a sports fan do you consider yourself?
Pretty big.
Okay, how long have you been into sports?
As long as I can remember, my entire life.
Okay, what's your earliest sports memory?
That's tough. I remember when I was little going to, before kindergarten, going to some Reading Phillies games, which is the Phillies minor league.
Okay. Were you a fan of the Syracuse teams before you attended here?
I was. I loved Syracuse lacrosse since I started playing in 5th grade. I always followed the basketball team as much as I could, and football somewhat, but not as much as I do now.
Did it affect the choice of what colleges you would apply to?
It definitely did. Sports played, I shouldn't say it, but sports played a big role in me choosing where I wanted to go.
I know what you mean. It did for me too.
Yeah.
I hate saying it, but it's the truth.
Like when people say, "Why'd you choose Syracuse?" Sports.
Why don't you think more people go to women's games?
I think they just don't find them as exciting or good.
Mm-hmm.
But I go to a lot of them, and they're a lot of fun. Sometimes they're more fun than some of the men's games. I know field hockey's one that I enjoy going to because they're really good all the time.
Yeah, I went to my first women's lacrosse game a week or two ago, and it was surprisingly fun.
Yeah, as long as you can figure out what's going on.
Yeah, when they're not blowing whistles.
Yeah.
Have you ever missed any men's basketball or football games?
I missed one basketball game freshman year. It was not preseason. It was an exhibition game, I think, and I missed it because I had a lab for bio, which I couldn't really skip. And I missed the Penn State football game my freshman year because I had to go home for a family emergency, and that's it.
Okay. What else would it take for you to miss a game? Events like that?
Yeah, it would have to be some sort of emergency. I don't plan on missing any games, so if I don't have to, I'm not missing them. I'll do pretty much whatever it takes to get there.
Roughly, how many games do you think you've camped out for?
At this point, it's probably close to 50 or so, maybe? Yeah, about 50.
What was the longest you've camped out for?
8 days we did for Louisville my freshman year. And then I think we did the same for Villanova this year.
Okay. What would you say sports mean to you? Kind of general question, but
it's kind of like my life. I love sports, and it does play a huge impact on my life. That's how I met most of my friends here, and a lot of friends at home. It's a good outlet for me for relieving stress and getting my exercise because I'm pretty lazy. So doing it in a game or a fun way like that definitely helps.
Who do you go to the games with?
I have a group of people that I've been going to games with pretty much since my freshman year. Lewis Millman, Dan Lyons, some other people that have either come and gone or graduated, or that have recently joined our group.
How did this group originally form?
Pretty much started with, I went to the first couple football games not knowing anyone, and then I met Lewis at the second or third game, and then we sort of met there, and we're talking I don't know, we sort of became friendly, and then I sort of met up with him for the rest of the football games, and then I had a group in the beginning for basketball, and he was in another group, but we still sort of hung out, and we're always there together. And then Dan ended up joining Lewis's group in basketball, and I'd seen Dan around at football games and stuff, but didn't necessarily know him as well, and then we sort of met through basketball and became closer.
Okay. Does your group hang out outside of sporting events and stuff like that?
Yeah, we hang out a lot. Dan and I are roommates, and we're always hanging out with Lewis.
Okay. Do you or your group have any traditions?
I mean, Lewis paints his face for every game, so
yeah, I've seen that.
you can, I guess that's kind of a tradition, and camping out is technically a tradition. We don't have many things that we do before every game besides that. Like, we don't have a ritual, or we do like a pregame meal sort of thing, or you go and like touch something in the dome. So, I mean, if you count the face painting and the camping out, that would probably be it.
Do you think you'd still enjoy the games without like your group?
I think I would, but it wouldn't be the same. Like, I know Lewis is graduating this year, which clearly it's hard on him, but it's hard on us as well, because Lewis has been there for us from the beginning, so it's going to be really different without him next year. So I don't know how it's going to go exactly.
Who do you think is the biggest Syracuse sports fan?
It's hard to say who like one person. I think that I was actually talking about this a couple days ago. I don't think there's just one person. I think that there are groups of people, or a large amount of people that definitely are the biggest sports fans. I would like to think that my group we're pretty much all there to be the biggest sports fans. There's other people that I don't necessarily know that would be biggest sports fans too, because there are people that I'm not friends with personally that I see at every game and that don't miss things. So
you guys seem to be like the most dedicated group, though. You always have like front row.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's because we decide that we want to camp out. Obviously, there's other people that are at every game but don't want to camp out and like the bleacher seats better. So I don't think it's necessarily fair to say that they're not as big as fans as us. But I mean, it's just personal preferences.
Okay. Hey, what's the best part about being in the student section?
It's definitely the atmosphere. I've sat in different parts of the student section. Like, if I've had class and had to get to the game late, I was in the middle of the bleachers, and to me, it's not even close to the same as being front row. You kind of experienced that, I think.
Yeah.
And they're cheering and stuff. I feel like it's almost like more pulling teeth at times, because like we'd have "Let's Go Orange" chants and defense and like all that going down in the front row and always yelling and constant. But in the middle, it seems sort of like quiet. And
I noticed that. Definitely a lot more participation in the front.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. Like, I wouldn't trade sitting up there for anything.
How do you think our student section compares to student sections at other schools?
I've heard from players, and I heard an interview with Jay Wright, the Nova basketball coach, that our arena and sections are it's hard for other schools to compare. Part of it's because of how the dome's set up, but that also hurts us at times, because if you look at the smaller arenas like at Duke and Pitt and North Carolina, their fans are on top of the court, and there's like no room from the sideline to the fans. But we have a pretty large area. We've got probably 10 or 15 yards in between us and the edge of the court. So if we were closer, I think that would make us even more intimidating, because the dome shakes pretty much when we're making our noise. But I think that we're definitely comparable with the other schools, and I know that's one of our goals with Otto's Army, is to make us bigger and better than the Cameron Crazies, the Oakland Zoo. I forget the other schools. Kansas State's is big too.
Michigan State's got a good one.
The Ozone, or Ozone, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember the one school, Utah State maybe, with their winning team, losing team chant, which is, I love that chant. It's so cool.
What is it?
It's I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's like the entire stadium cheers it. It's I'll get the video because it's pretty fun, but it's pretty cool.
Like, I know Syracuse used to have the student section run along the sideline rather than the baseline.
That changed when they moved to the dome or redid something with the court. I'm not sure exactly. but I've heard from a lot of alumni that it used to be, we used to have the side section where they pull out bleachers are, but now we don't. And I forget the reason why we changed that.
Oh, I was talking to Trenton earlier, had an interview with Tim. He says because we weren't like filling it up, like there wasn't much student like participation back then. So they kind of moved it so they could like sell those seats and get like a ton of money.
Yeah.
Which I'm not surprised about.
Yeah, one of the, like, it's funny because they'll sell our tickets during break too, and we supposedly have really big tickets to sell. Like they love them, so I don't know. I guess everywhere that we sit, people want those seats.
Yeah. Okay. How far do you have Syracuse going in the NCAA tournament?
I had us to the Elite 8, losing to Ohio State. It sucked when we lost in the Sweet 6, or no, not even
Round
Sweet 16,
before, yeah.
32 again. But I mean, we had a tough matchup with Marquette, who was really underseeded. They should have been a lot higher than 11, but
Big East teams they're all good.
Yeah, and it doesn't help playing them second round. But I had us to the Elite 8, and I think we could have gone there because I think we still could have beat UNC, and Marquette was just not.
Yeah.
Didn't help.
I think I had us in the Final Four. I think I had like Kentucky beating Ohio State, which actually happened.
Yeah, I had Ohio State winning it all, which I still think
It was a good pick.
Yeah.
What'd you do after the loss?
I was upset. I mean, I don't know. I didn't do much. I was in my apartment, and then I just ended up. Oh, sorry.
Fine.
I just ended up like sort of sitting there for a little bit, and then I just did some homework because we had class the next day, and I didn't do like any work over spring break. But I don't know. I didn't do much. There wasn't much I could do at that point. I heard about my friend said that one kid came into his class and told the teacher that he was late because he kicked a chair the night before after the loss and broke his foot, so he had to go to health services after. But I didn't take it that poorly.
How many orange shirts do you think you own?